Yep. So United drew 1-1 today against Arsenal. I guess on paper, it's a good result because Arsenal are obviously a team that was quote unquote competing for the league. We're 15th. We need all the points we can get to slowly but surely climb up the league. What for? I don't know what. But I guess on paper the result isn't too bad. The reality is that in reality, the result was quite bad because Arsenal huffed and puffed. They had a majority of possession, but it didn't really trouble us that much. And if we had our shooting boots on, if we could take our chances, if we had luck on our side, we probably could have won this game. And I don't think Arsenal had any complaints. That's how weird of a game it was. Arsenal had all the possession. Arsenal had the majority of possession, let's say. I thought they dominated the midfield. I thought they troubled us at the back, even though they didn't have a centre forward. I thought they did well in terms of, stretching us across the pitch and stuff. But they did really nothing to really, really punish us and put us to the death, or put us to the sword. And I think a better team, definitely a team like Liverpool, would have spanked us easily. We didn't really deserve to get anything out of that game, I'm not going to lie. Pretty terrible game, especially with us playing a low block at home against Arsenal. Pretty embarrassing tactics, I think so. But I understand why Ruben Amorim went for it, because we've been on a terrible run of form. The players are on very low confidence. Today there was a planned protest, which was bizarre because it was like a protest march. These honestly, United fans are kind of disgraceful, kind of embarrassing, especially the match-going fans. The match-going fans are fucking embarrassing. Like, they did some protest that involved them marching to the stadium, chanting Glazers out, which I agree with, of course, but then still sitting in the stadium later on. So I guess it was a march with like a delayed arrival at the stadium, but the stadium by the end of the game was completely full. So what was all this walkout thing? What was all this like sending a message? There was nothing, no message was sent there. So very bizarre circumstances. But I think with that in mind, maybe the manager wanted to kind of quell things and not allow us to get spanked and shit. Maybe that's a response to it. I don't know. But I don't like seeing us playing at home with those type of tactics, even against Real Madrid's, even against some of the best teams in the world, the Barcelonas, Juventus, whoever they are. I don't like to see United at Old Trafford playing that way, where essentially we've got one person up front and the rest of the people are defending behind the ball, or in this case, everybody's behind the ball. I don't fucking like that, especially when we don't have the necessary quality up front to punish teams on the counter attack. But all in all, decent result, I think. Standout. No, I wouldn't say. Not even gonna say standout. One of the most controversial points of the game was when Højlund came on. He's always in the headlines, Højlund. Bless him. And I guess when he came on, he probably had two of our most clear-cut chances, maybe, on paper. But I think it was kind of unfair, some of the criticism he's been getting. Because I personally thought the first chance he got, where the ball kind of ricocheted into his path, one-on-one with the keeper, and then Rice came back and kind of side tackled and got the ball away from him. I thought that was a world-class tackle, personally. I thought that's the kind of chance only a player or a striker that's on their game, that's like on fire, like a Salah, like those type, like a Isak, a striker that's on their game, that's like, everything they touch just goes into the net, would finish a chance like that. That's a chance that only a striker that's really on their game, on their toes constantly, would finish that. I don't understand why people would expect Højlund, who's had a terrible season, to finish that chance when he hasn't even been scoring the most simplest of chances. So that was never going to happen. I also think the tackle from Declan Rice was very underrated and not being given enough props. I don't think, a lot of defenders, a lot of midfielders were able to get back that way and get the ball away that cleanly of a tackle. That was incredible from Declan Rice. Absolutely incredible. And then the second chance, where I think it was a crossing from the left-hand side, and Højlund for once made a good run towards the near post to flick it in. Again, a good block from Gabriel. Very, very good block. I think he was playing against, Saliba and Gabriel are probably two of the best centre-backs in the league, if not Europe. And they are that level for a reason. I also don't concede many goals either. So I wasn't that surprised that he wasn't able to convert. And let's be honest, as much as I like Joshua Zirkzee, you put Joshua Zirkzee in those positions, I think he's also missing. I honestly think if you put Joshua Zirkzee in the same position that Højlund was in for the first chance, where Rice came in and slid tackled him, and the second chance, I think Joshua Zirkzee is also missing. Those are chances that only the toppest of the toppest strikers, the ones who are really on their A game, can finish. And unfortunately for us at the moment, Højlund just isn't at that level now. He might get there sooner rather than later, but he's not at that level now. And I still think, the service isn't really there. You saw what happened with Dalot today. I thought Dalot had one of his worst games he's ever had. in a weird way, but also did well when he was going forward. Like, just sums up his performances. Has all the speed and necessary whatever dribbling speed sometimes to get away from defenders and get some space, but the delivery with right foot or left foot just terrible. Like, he might put in one good cross every 6 games, maybe, if that. Like, delivery is so consistently terrible. I thought Mazraoui did decently enough, offering another option on the right hand side. Didn't really do much either. I thought Garnacho kind of flattered to deceive again. Very frustrating in certain parts. So when he should shoot, he passes. When he should pass, he shoots. Like, he's very, very average in my personal opinion. I don't think he's United level at all, Garnacho, in the long term. If Rashford isn't United level, I don't think Garnacho is better than Rashford in any way, shape or form. And he's fucking garbage. And Bruno Fernandes, man. Bruno Fernandes does it again. I thought Bruno Fernandes was kind of anonymous, I think. He was very anonymous. He didn't really do much. I thought that double pivot with him and Casemiro in defense was a little bit mediocre too. I thought Casemiro maybe played the better out of the two. I didn't like it towards the second half when they kept kind of, getting deeper and deeper into our half and literally sitting on top of the centre-backs, which effectively is what led to the goal. We weren't really pushing out and pushing Arsenal back. But I thought Bruno Fernandes was anonymous. Another performance that is stat padded. If not for that free kick, like, that's a 0 for me, man. He was pretty shit. But the free kick was obviously clutch. You can't take that away from him. I thought Raya did pretty poorly with the wall as well. I don't think a goalkeeper probably would be a bit bothered if the free kick goes in that way, where he just curls it into the space. He didn't really curl it into the top corner, or like it didn't hit the post and go in. Raya probably should have done better, but still give Bruno Fernandes his props for it, because he usually misses a lot of those free kicks. They usually hit the wall or they go over. So the fact that this one free kick he scored was a big relief. I think if we had our shooting boots on, if we were a better team, we probably would have beat this Arsenal side. And I think if you're Arsenal, you should be very frustrated. You should be very frustrated with your manager, very frustrated with your club, because this is opportunity this season to actually win the league. Chelsea going through their transition, Man City falling off, United doing what we're doing now, being 15th. All you really had to battle with was Liverpool. And Arsenal kind of shit the bed, They are 15 points off the top, I think. And effectively, their season was over when they didn't sign a striker in January. That lack of striker in January kind of, left it to chance. And now you're relying on Moreno, relying on what's his name, relying on Romano. Who's the guy that I like that played really well? So I thought for Arsenal, he played pretty well. The guy from Brighton. Trossard, Martinelli's come back from injury, but he's not doing too well. I thought Nwaneri had a pretty quiet game, considering how well he's done in past weeks as well. So it's not the greatest, Arsenal kind of shit the bed in that regard. They probably should have done a lot better, all things considered. And they're probably going to rue the opportunity not to sign a striker or some type of attacking talent, whether it's on the wings, to kind of supplement for Saka's long-term injury and shit. And obviously Martinelli been out as much as he has, but it kind of is what it kind of is. For United, like I said, I don't really care about the match. I'm not going to lie. Most of these games now, I just watch because of habit. I don't watch them because I'm enjoying them. They are devoid of any kind of joy, devoid of any kind of, I don't say, joy is probably the game, devoid of any kind of entertainment, devoid of any quality, especially the game recently we played in the fucking Europa League. Like, that nearly made my eyes bleed. Like, legitimately boring, make you fall asleep football, with grossly overpaid players who have no business being at the club, but we have to keep holding them because we don't have nobody else at this current moment. I'm hoping in the summer a lot of these players leave. I hope their contracts get terminated. I hope some of them get pushed out of a moving truck if need be, because I had enough. I really have had enough. It's boring, man, watching these players strut out nonsense after nonsense after nonsense. The grades aren't really going anywhere, so those protests are pretty pointless, but I would prefer it if we did walk out, actual walkouts, or decide to do boycotts and not go to games. But these match-going fans are so annoying. They have this like toxic positivity thing going on where they just want to cheer on the club no matter what, like clapping off the fans during 1-1 at home against Arsenal, playing low block football like stinks, to be honest. And yeah, man, I think we're just going to carry on. We're going to carry on. I think maybe Ruben Amorim, even though we're going to finish so low in the league, probably still deserves one season to get his message across and get his players in there. I'm still a little bit concerned, personally, if I have to be honest. I'm a little bit concerned that it seems like Amorim needs a lot of players to get his message across, We haven't really seen his style of football, his style of play. It seems like he needs his exact profiles to get his message across in any kind of competent way. And I just think at the moment the league isn't good. The league is not of the level that we should be 15th. We are shit, don't get me wrong, but I don't think the league is that good that we should be 15th. We're not that shit, you know. We're probably just as bad as Arsenal, you know, just as bad as they are, and they're somehow second in the league. So we have to fix up that regard. And I think Ruben Amorim has got a lot to kind of prove, because so far it's not been good. I'm not gonna lie, it's not been good. Some of the formations, some of the selections, the over reliance on Bruno, that some players get played through the ground, other players get rotated in and out all the time. It's just a bit of a madness. Like, you know, the Anthony loaning and not getting another player in to replace him, like just weird things up and down all over the place. But we have to give him also props, and the club props. The one shining thing to come out of this game, was a performance of Ayden Heaven. Ayden Heaven, wow. 18 years old. He came from the academy at Arsenal this season basically, right? Went straight into the first team squad. And the last couple of appearances I've seen from him, this kid looks like a baller. And I'm going to stick my neck out and say, I think Ayden Heaven is going to have a better career at United than Chiobi Martin. I think Chiobi Martin looks a little bit callous, I'm not going to lie. Like, I like his energy, I like his passion, whatever, but he doesn't look that great. I'm not going to lie, he looks a little bit, you know what I mean? But Ayden Heaven, I can't say Ayden Mullins, Ayden Heaven, off the eye alone, off the eye test only, off the naked eye, you can tell this kid's a baller. Played at the centre back, came on at halftime for Lenny Euro, who got injured. God almighty, the aggression, the physicality, the athleticism, the speed across the ground, the composure on the ball, the passing range, the heading ability, the tackle, tenacity, revving up the crowd when he tackled Martinelli and got the free kick. Nah, Ayden Heaven is going to have a good career at United. And I like the fact that he's playing under Ruben Amorim in this like back three system, which is going to, I think, help him develop his game in that regard. He'll probably play way better if he played in a standard back four as one of the centre backs. But I think he's so versatile. He looks really good, where I think he could play along the whole back line and defensive midfield. He looks like he's got the ability to drive in the midfield. He's got a little bit of a drop of a shoulder. He's got a little bit of a dribble in him. I've seen him score some goals in the youth leagues that look pretty decent as well. So he's got attacking, you know, instincts. But this Ayden Heaven kid, he looks like a player. He looks like a real baller. He's the only kind of shining light I thought for his performance. He looked really fucking good. So big up Ayden Heaven for doing his thing. Big up Ayden Heaven for doing his ting.